trying to get loose too.
I know.
You know, and hey, he's got some balls on him too. Ohio State football has a major problem, and while you might know them as the reigning national champions, as a Texas fan, I know them as the team that stole Quinn Ewers' soul. But in reality, this team is about to be reloaded, even though losing a bunch of talent to the NFL draft. They're going to have more NFL talent at both sides of the field at almost every single position. But one position that they've quote-unquote struggled with, hard to say that after winning a natty, is the quarterback position, finding that guy at the quarterback position. So right now, they've got a heated quarterback battle between Julian Sayin. You also have Mr. Lincoln. I don't know how to say his last name because I don't want to disrespect his family. And Mr. St. Clair, the true freshman that's looking to blaze some things. So we're going to start with the quarterback coach speaking on the battle. We have a few more perspectives and plenty of tape from the Ohio State spring practices. So let's hop right into it, all right? This is the whole Ohio State quarterbacks coach, by the way.
Yeah, I think that we're just a long way away from even talking about how close it is. Right now, those three guys are really just focused on getting better every single time they step in this building, in meeting rooms, step out on the field on practice, and that's really the goal. Is just finding a way to improve every single time that we're out here, to finding a way to develop some consistency. I thought going out there today, all three of them did stuff that at points throughout practice we get really excited about, and that was awesome to see. Now, we've got a long way to go because it's about doing consistently. And, there was other times in practice where all three of them had plays that they probably wish they had back. So it's such an important time of the year, and it's so exciting for those guys to continue to grow and get these opportunities every time that they walk out on the field to get a little bit better, and it's going to be really critical to their development.
Absolutely. And this is kind of some of the similar sentiments. I know a lot of people who watch my videos, watch my Colorado videos too. They've got a bit of a quarterback battle, but it's a different situation, right? In this battle, this is a similar and same, right? In the same vein, they're looking for a new guy, but in a different vein, this is what seems to be very heightened three-man battle. And the way that Ohio State's head coach Ryan Day says it is the quarterback battle between Lincoln and Julian Sayin is pretty much a neck and neck. So although it's a neck and neck from the head coach, a lot of people have other things to say. So now let's take this with a grain of salt. This is a Michigan fan, right? And this is my guy that I watch on TikTok. He usually has some pretty good videos. Take this with a grain of salt, but apparently he had some intel about what was going on at these Ohio State practices that are going to go beyond than the film that we're going to show you.
I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but I am going to talk about it because I did just go to Ohio State's open practice, and all the reports you've been hearing, they look true to me. If you're a student and you were there and you disagree, feel free to go down to the comments and let everybody know. But from what I can see, the lights were just too bright in the scrimmage, again, for Julian Sayin. And to be honest, the lights weren't that bright. It was actually just natural lighting. I will say that I completely understand why they want Sayin to play. The ball looks a little different coming out of his hand, but when Kienholz is in, they're just making plays. The offense is moving and they're clicking, and that is not happening with Sayin. He looks highly inaccurate for the most part. He makes some poor decisions. He threw the ball to the defense a couple times. I don't know what else you want me to say about it. One thing that I will say is Ohio State has the best cornerback room I've maybe ever seen. They're like 6 deep, just NFL cornerbacks. Aaron Scott Jr. really caught my eye today. I didn't really notice Tavien Sanchez as much, which I guess if you're a cornerback can be a good thing, but they were targeting Aaron Scott with Jeremiah Smith, and it wasn't working for him. This was my view for the practice, and one of the main things I was watching was the offensive line. They were absolutely elite in pass protection. The quarterbacks had plenty of time, but I will say they got stuffed in 3rd and short and 4th and short quite a few times. I will say that some of the older guys, like Caleb Downs, for example, was not doing a lot of football activities. He was mostly just a spectator for this practice. So maybe it was just because of the pitch count and the lack of reps for the higher-end defensive linemen, but the defensive line was really doing nothing in pass rush. They couldn't get to the quarterback at all. Overall, this event was absolutely sick. There were recruits in the building. They had food catered. There were NFL guys there, and every team should be doing this.
And this goes to, before we go deeper into the actual quarterback battle, which I'm about to get into with each of the guys, kind of a little bit of a background on it, I want to speak about the fact that what Ohio State's doing, and the reason why I'm doing this video and why I think that there are parallels between Colorado, because y'all know I do a lot of Colorado videos, but it's this idea that having access, letting the media have access can do such positive things in this modern world of recruiting. Dog, let recruits come watch spring. Let the students come watch spring. Let the spring practice and spring football continue to be a pillar of the community, even though the community is changing what it looks like in particular. It doesn't mean that we can't still embrace a lot of the things that are happening. We can't embrace the fact that, these are great opportunities to look back at the community, reach out to the schools, and reach back to the people who may be alumni and different things like that. So shout out to Ohio State for allowing all this footage to be available and for us to actually be able to go through it, similar to Colorado too. So I think that's dope. I think they do a really good job. They have like 4 or 5 different, media people in there, all different angles and stuff like that. So let's get to the actual quarterbacks. Mr. Julian Sayin, if I believe correctly, he is a sophomore. Yeah, he is a sophomore. He was he's 19, so he's about to be 20 years old. So here's a quick little background coming out of college. His comps are J.J. McCarthy, which is interesting, Michigan, Ohio State. But here we go. Sayin had a strong senior year and developed his game in multiple areas, coming off an MVP performance at an Elite 11 finals. His confidence was sky high, and it showed in his play. Physically, he looked more developed and stronger in his upper body. He always had an advanced feel for the position with an extremely high football IQ. He's an accurate passer, poised and understands timing and anticipation. His physical tools in terms of his size and arm strength took a jump this year, and he played with a lot more twitch in his game. His athleticism has always been an underrated part of his game, and this year we saw him take off and run more and show the ability to easily elude pass rushers and extend play. He's a heady player with a high football IQ and could be the most ready-to-play quarterback in this year's class. And they're talking about first-round projections for this guy. And here are the other things that people are saying about Julian Sayin. He's one of the prettiest releases in college football ever seen. Sayin was probably talk of the combine amongst Ohio State players. Wow, despite not even being named QB1 yet, one Big Ten coach believes Sayin has the potential to be the best quarterback in the Big Ten in his first season as a starter. Multiple NFL scouts reportedly believe Sayin could end up being the most successful quarterback from the 2024 class, which of course had Dylan Raiola, DJ Lagway. He's even received comparisons to names like Trevor Lawrence, Bryce Young, and Caleb Williams. The Buckeyes quarterback is going to be special. And let's see what that pretty release looks like there. And that has been, I don't know much about Julian Sayin, but the only thing I knew about him before starting and on this video was that he's a guy that can just, do a lot with arm talent. And these young kids are going crazy with what they do with the arm talent. But here's a deeper look at Julian Sayin and him. This pass from Julian Sayin to Jeremiah Smith. The ball placement is perfect. Aaron Scott makes a great play on the ball, but there is nothing you can do if Sayin is going to put the ball at that spot to Smith. So here it is. Julian Sayin looking left, goes to who? But, this is kind of where the highlights that you're going to see for him is that, again, like he said, the placement, the places that he goes with the ball through the things that I've seen have been very effective and efficient, and he has enough talent to get there. But also on the contrary, I think there's also people saying that, hey, maybe he does that too much. Maybe he trusts it too much, right? So here's Julian Sayin running around the perimeter of the field after being picked off by the cornerback Jermaine Matthews. So there's been some clear struggles, getting picks and different things like that. But at the same time, there's too much talent to show. There's too much talent to not believe that something positive can happen. Here's that pick there as well. Nice pitch. He looks left. He's going, and that is, I don't know if this is more about him, even though this is a late ball. Like, hey, we're backing up in this clean pocket, right? And you've got homeboy with his arm. You got the safety coming down. I can't see how much, trash he has in his face, but that ball needs to be going now. The ball doesn't get to release until now it gets released, and he's trailing that the whole time, going from being beat to just completely catching up. And again, I think that is way more to do with that ball being late and this DB being able to catch up. But you don't want to see picks like that. You don't want to see those things issue. But here is some of the, I guess, positive propaganda as well for Mr. Julian Sayin.
I don't think y'all heard me, nigga. I'm the real.
Oh, wow. And that is, this is deep over the shoulder. That was nasty. Here's another one here. Looking left, going right, spins one out there. And these are pretty, it's not super deep, but I think the balls and the place that he's placing them, being able to find Jeremiah Smith often as well, right over the top too. He's not afraid to attack over the middle of the field. And here he is trying to get loose too. He's got some balls on him too. He went ahead and got loose. Dang, they're letting the quarterbacks get hit like that. That's crazy. That is crazy, man. Here's quarterback Julian Lewis, a wide receiver Jeremiah Smith working on the connection during Student Appreciation Day. And that's another angle of that crazy pass too. So from what it seems like, Julian Sayin is a bit of a dog. He's a bit of a guy, but he seems to have been struggling a little bit in spring practice. And if you know anything about spring practice, like that can happen to the best of us. So what about the other guy, Ohio State Lincoln Kienholz? I heard the dude say it. I'm not going to be able to say it right again, but he is a 4-star prospect. And then here is his little breakdown here. Athletic prospect who can make plays with his feet, uses that athleticism to navigate the pocket and elude the rush, can run, but will look to throw the ball when breaks contained, throws with excellent touch, drops passes into a bucket, gives his receivers opportunities to make plays on the ball, and leads them away from coverage on vertical routes or corner routes. Productive in high school and saw some good programs, but did not face many teams with D1 prospects in the secondary. He will have to adjust to the speed and windows shrinking quicker in college. Has a good arm, but not arm strength and velocity. Is going to fill in more in college and add some of that, though. Far from a finished product, but has a lot of good development skills, is a gamer. Mobility makes him fit well with today's offenses, should develop into a Power 5 starter and possible pro. And this is old Lincoln, the log, Ohio State quarterback, Lincoln, whatever, on NIL, Ohio State, Dylan Raiola, and betting on himself. So this is a guy that's not just a guy, but he's also very knowledgeable about the current state of college football. So let's hear what he had to say.
Lincoln Kienholz rewrote the record books in South Dakota in his 4 years at Riggs High School in Pierre, South Dakota. And now he's going to challenge himself with one of the most prestigious jobs in college football, being quarterback at Ohio State.
It's really exciting. I'm glad I'm done. I mean, it was a really fun experience just for me, just to go out and meet a lot of people, but I'm glad I chose Ohio State, and I'm just glad that I'm done. So,
last spring, he wasn't even sure if he was a Division I football quarterback, but as his star grew and as he impressed more and more scouts, he became one of the most sought-after quarterbacks in the nation.
Like the middle of October, they started talking to me, and then they came out to my game against T, and it kind of just went from there, and I just kept talking to them, and then I went on the visit in November to the Team Up North game, and I think that was a great experience.
He sees Ohio State as a place that will develop quarterbacks and get him to the NFL.
I think Washington had better NIL than Ohio State. I think I can go to Washington and get money, or I can go to Ohio State and be developed and then potentially reach my goal of going to the NFL.
Wow.
There's not much to question about his high school career other than his competition level, playing in South Dakota. But Lincoln Kienholz is ready to bet on himself.
I talked to Coach Dennis a lot, and he said that I need to bet on myself. And I think I kind of took that to heart, and I think it shows that stars really don't matter because, I mean, I'm not really saying that this is the main reason, but then the Dylan Raiola decommitted once I committed, so I think that's huge.
Okay, and that is Lincoln Kienholz, if I'm pronouncing his name right. And interesting tidbit there. He said that, hey, look, Washington had more NIL money, but, Ohio State is going to be the one to develop me. And if we could, because we talk a lot about NIL on this channel, I think that's an interesting conversation coming from him, right? Because that does seem to be what a lot of these top guys, the decision that they make, right? When you're in these top universities, even though you could get a few more thousand, maybe an extra 10,000 there, right? It really does matter who you can get developed by, what that Ohio State, means and what that alumni means as it goes towards if your goal is to get into the next level into the NFL. So let's look at old Lincoln. So this is from the Scarlet and Gray podcast. These are just some, I believe these are deeper than fans. I believe these are like alumni and, people who are really locked in. But I think fans need to understand the last time you truly saw Lincoln Kienholz was in the Cotton Bowl against Missouri. He has always had talent, but remember he was late to enroll since he was a 3-star athlete coming out of high school and thrown into the fire with zero preparation against Missouri. Last season was his first full year in the program, and now he has more experience in the system. Don't write him off in this quarterback competition. This is not the same player you saw 2 years ago. And then that same podcast kind of linking us to some of the things that he's doing to Carnell Tate. And this thing looks like a potato, but you can see it deep down that right side. I mean, and that thing's a bucket. What I've seen through these passes, and we're going to get into more passes. We got plenty more, but we're just taking a quick stop here. What I've seen from him is a pop in an explosiveness out of his game. Oh, this is copyright. Can't watch that. I've seen a bit of a pop and explosiveness from his arm, right, that I haven't seen from the other quarterback in particular, right? And there's a slightness, right? When Julian Sayin throws the ball, it's like he's putting his whole arm into it. Like he's really trying to throw that thing and trying to put it in places in XYZ. But I feel as though that whenever this kid whips that ball, it's very smooth, it's very clean, and it's something that he's comfortable doing. So let's talk about the blue chip stock that just came in, Tavien St. Clair. And he's a I believe 5-star, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, 5-star. 100, like this is the big bad dog, right? 6'4", 225. He is of the ilk of the CJ Strouds, of the I want to say Braxton Miller, but not really Braxton Cordell, of the rest in peace Dwayne Haskins. This is a guy that could do those types of things and could have that type of projection. Number 1 player in Ohio, number 3 quarterback, and number 4 nationally ranked as well. True freshman with a lot of expectations. And we're going to actually just go ahead and hear it from the quarterback coach on Tavien St. Clair.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, he's still a guy that should be in high school. Does it help that he was around all spring last spring and in a bunch of meetings? Yeah, I think so. But at the end of the day, he's sitting there in those meetings, but he still has his own offense to go run in the following fall. So his mind is more on that probably than it is on really studying all the details of different concepts in the scheme that we're running here. So is it the first time that he's hearing, a lot of things? Yes. Are there a couple things that are a little bit familiar? Yes. So I think somewhere there can give you a little bit of advantage. But at the end of the day, it's, just trying to find a way that he can continue to learn and grow and get better every single day. And I think he knows that the amount of work that has to be put in to get to the point where he wants to be. And what I'm excited about Tavien is he's committed to put that work in.
What do you like most about Tavien so far?
And I think that's great to hear from the young gentleman, and he's going to come in with a lot of hype. And from what I've seen, it doesn't seem like he is in truly the quarterback battle. It's more so that he just does nice things with the ball and that big frame. I mean, you can see the difference of his, he's a bit of he's a unit out there. You know what I'm saying? You can see all of them there releasing the ball, and he hasn't got as much spin, as much burn from what I understand. But again, he is a presence out there on the field. He's a big body. I think he's going to be the next in that lineage of those quarterbacks. If I'm not mistaken, he's got a bit of wiggle to him too. And again, also one of those guys who's slight in that big frame. He can wire balls out there. He slings that. As you can see, he's got great velocity and different things like that. And let's see what the scouts have to say about him. So, budding quarterback that has a chance to be a special on Saturdays with his size, arm, and mobility, has shown a year-over-year improvement while playing at small-town Ohio-based football and should round into form after developmental period in college. Flash the ability to make all the throws on the offensive camp circuit this summer before senior season has proven to be very accurate on the move, frequently in control of his 6', 225 frame, and could cover a ton of turf with his drops or sprint outs. Likes to thread the needle with tight spirals and will alter the arm angle to throw around defenders. Rare core strength allows him to deliver off-balance dimes, while a broad chest makes it easy for him to whip. Wow, we're doing some glazing here. Whip the ball across his body, but I mean, the kid's a dog. More of a build speed athlete, but has some agility and is a creative as a scrambler. Hasn't played in the most complex offensive systems to date, but can stay on schedule and hit his marks while also improving when needed. Must cut down on the mental lapses in early senior season. Tape revealed a few turnover-worthy plays, but tends to avoid danger. Overall, should be viewed as a potential multi-year starter for college football playoff contender that can distribute at a high level, both inside and outside of the pocket. After fine-tuning, likely to eventually draw NFL scouts to his build and power. So, like I said, there's a lot of power, there's a lot of build there, but how is the true freshman, or I guess not even less than a freshman, taking everything?
The better leadership that you have for your team and the closer relationships that you have, the longer it'll take you. With him, I saw nobody hated Will, nobody disliked Will, everybody loved Will. He was comfortable talking to anybody, and that's something that I'm going to carry with me, just trying to be familiar with everybody, know everybody, know everything about them. That's really been the main focus, just building relationships with people that I don't normally talk to, and really just trying to build that chemistry around the team has been the main focus.
That's dope. I love to see that. I love to hear when a freshman's main focus, quote unquote, is, just trying to get better, right? And trying to get better from an internal standpoint, right? He's not trying to just get better. And there's another picture of that. But he's also doing it in a way where, you know, he's really framing the teammate aspect of it. And that's Devin Sanchez on Jeremiah Smith. We're just going to run through a few of these while I kind of wrap things up. As it pertains to the quarterback battle at large, look, it's spring football. So I don't think you're really going to know anything until either the end or we get closer to the summertime, right? There's a lot of, different, we should say, different things at play here. That's a dot. There's a lot of things at play here, and I think a lot that's going to come out to it. Like, do you like the guy who spins it nice, right? You know, in Luke, and who seems to, as you know, a guy alluded to earlier, who seems to just make things work, or do you like the more tenured guy who seems to also have a little more flavor, and a little more ability when it comes to doing different things? Here's that freshman again, and like I said, he looks good running, man. That thing. That thing looks crazy. Hey, that thing comes off his hand now. So, again, if y'all want to see more Ohio State stuff, more spring stuff, they got plenty of it. So we can always get kind of deeper into what's going on. But here is Caleb Downs going crazy. We have more defensive plays. We have plenty of spring stuff. But I kind of wanted to focus in on wow, that's crazy. Jeremiah Smith's doing. Kind of want to focus in on the quarterback battle and what that's doing for Ohio State, and you know what has done for the overall team. Y'all let me know which of these quarterbacks you think is most equipped, which you think can get it done to the better of their ability. And that's another angle of that crazy pass. But leave like a video if you like it. Dislike if you don't like it. Comment if there's another team you want to see in the spring, any other type of content you want to see. Subscribe if you enjoy college football content, update, transfer portal, everything else in between. We'll see you next time, man. You know you're great, so keep being the best in the nation. Peace.